Cool, so this is an oxygen tank. They're generally white if they're new. If they're old, they could be black. There's usually a label on the front saying that it's oxygen. So this top part here is the master valve, and we have the regulator, which has the gauge and the flow rate on it. So in here is a Bodax seal. It's got one circle and two down the bottom there. We attach the Bodax seal to that point there, putting the prongs in and tightening. So now when we turn the oxygen on, we lay it down flat and pointing away from us. We first turn the master valve on, and the gauge flips up to halfway, showing that it's halfway full. We then select the flow rate, so for nasal prongs it'll be 3, and our oxygen's working. So we can turn that off, turn the master valve off. Cool. So the master valve is still showing that it's half full. We need to bleed it out to then take off the regulator. So the master valve's off, the flow rate's off, the valve is empty. We can now unscrew the regulator and take it off. This is the suction unit. So we've got soft tubing here and a hard catheter. It's attached to a reservoir tank. The filter's here. So you can pull the reservoir tank out by doing that. Batteries over here, power points there. Water's on the side to clear the soft tubing should it get blocked. So to test the suction, turn it on, press the test button, through the tube. So complications with suctioning is it stimulates the vagal nerve, which can induce bradycardia. It also induces vomiting. Cool, so this is done. Release that. And the suctioning went to the full top. So we can turn that off, suction's working. So patients, you should always suction if the fluid in their mouth. So they should be lying in their recovery position. You only suction on the way out in a circular motion. So you occlude the hole to suction and go out. So you only put the catheter in as far as you can see, and occlude the hole and suction on the way out. Cool. You don't suction for longer than 10 seconds because that can cause hypoxia. And so with children, you want to use a soft catheter because the damage to the soft tissue is more severe, and in a moving vehicle you would use a soft catheter as well. So this here is an OPA. It's used when patients have a lower GCS level. OPAs induce the gag reflex, which is why you only want to put it in patients who are unconscious and don't have a gag reflex. So to measure the correct OPA, you start from the corner of the mouth and go to the angle of the mandible. So this is a good size. To insert, you start this way and you rotate inside at 180 degrees, and then it's inserted. So then you've got an NPA. The measurement for an NPA is from the nose to the earlobe. So there. You would lubricate the NPA. So NPAs are a better alternative if the patient still has a gag reflex, so that's usually when their GCS is higher. So you can insert by going perpendicular to the nose. You can twist if it's getting difficult to put in. You could also take it out and pop it in the other nose should you have problems putting it in the first one. You can't put an NPA in if they've had a traumatic brain injury. So this is a first response kit. The bottom pocket here is for paramedic equipment that we don't need to know. This top pocket here is your diagnostic equipment. So in here you'll have your adult and your pediatric blood pressure cuffs and kits, and you'll have your thermometer and your glucose test meter and test strips. You'll have your stethoscope, your pupil torch, and your shears. So in this pocket here is your hemorrhage management equipment. The main thing about this pocket is this is where your tourniquets are. So there's 2 of those. You also can find steri strips, 30ml packets of saline for irrigation, and just an assortment of bandages such as a triangular bandage for wound management. On the other side, at the top here is your personal protective equipment. So this is where you'd find safety glasses, vomit bags, numbing spray, and cuffs. This pocket here is your hypoglycemic pocket. So in here you have an assortment of glucose delivery, so you have medications, liquids, and edibles, and you also have a syringe for the application. So inside the bag, starting at the top, you have your oral medications such as ibuprofen, paracetamol, you have tramadol and methoxyflurane. Next, this is your airway adjuncts. So you have your OPAs ranging from 000 to size 4. You have your NPAs, which is 6.5, 7.5, and 8.5. You have foreign body extraction equipment such as a laryngoscope and forceps. You also have a biohazard bag, and you should have some lubrication in here for the NPA insertion. Cool. In here you have your nebulizer equipment, so you have your nebulizer mask, your pediatric and your adult. You also have your nebulizer drugs such as salbutamol, adrenaline and ibuprofen. Cool. And here at the bottom you have a litre of saline, and you also have your slippery sand mat sheet. Right. You have your BVM kit. So this is your adult BVM kit. It contains your bag, your reservoir bag, and your adult mask. So you also have a filter, which can go on first, and then your adult mask. You have some oxygen cables and your PEEP valve. Cool. Next you have your pediatric and child BVM kit. So this is your children's, this is your pediatric. You also have the appropriate masks for those, another PEEP valve, and a filter. In the adult BVM kit, you also have your high concentration oxygen mask. You have your LMA equipment, which just contains LMA sizes 1 to 5. You have your pediatric and your adult Thomas tube holder. You have a syringe, lubrication, and COBS connector. So this is your sharps box, and you can have a towel in there as well. Cool, that's your kit. Awesome. So this is a BVM kit. They're really good and they're used for resus, for ventilation. So to connect it up, you've got a tube here that's connected to the nipple. You put it into the oxygen tank and set it to 10 to 15 litres per minute. Our oxygen isn't working, so we're just going to leave it like that. So if the oxygen were to be working, we would have this full reservoir bag. If the bag wasn't full, it would indicate something's wrong. To check that the chamber's working, we occlude the valve and squeeze. No air's coming out and there's resistance. The chamber's fine. So this is a aspiration valve and this is a filter. We can put on a PET valve. So the PET valve increases pressure, which will open up the alveoli. So we do not use these in cardiac arrest or pneumothorax. You can adjust the pressure by twisting this valve here. We won't need that one for today. Cool, so I can put on the adult mask. Now when we ventilate a patient, we don't have oxygen on the table, but for this video it's just going to be there. But for this patient, if the patient were to have a beard or were quite obese or facial trauma, that would be difficult to get a good seal, so that's a complication. When we ventilate, we put the pointy part to the nose, we create a CE grip and a head tilt there. This patient is in a sniffing position, so the towel actually helps to already tilt the patient's head for me. When I'm ventilating, I will do 3 rules, so I will have 3 fingers. With my hands I will use 4. I will fill the bag to a third, and I will not, in cardiac arrest, I will not do this for longer than 3 seconds. During cardiac arrest, you would do 30 compressions to 2 breaths. If the patient was not in cardiac arrest, I would do 1 breath every 6 seconds. If I had another assistant, I could demonstrate a double CE grip and then do a jaw thrust as well. Tilt the head back and the other person can squeeze the valve. So that's that. I could also have the patient in a recovery position. So they'll just be on their side and their head back, and I could ventilate from there. And so a complication with the BVM is overinflation of the lungs. So that is why we must follow that 3 rule there. Cool. That is BVM. Awesome. So this is nasoprom. So we attach it to the oxygen at 3 litres per minute. We've run out of gas, so we'll just simulate that that's flowing. So we put through the nose, attach it around the ears, and tie it at the front. So these are really good as they're non-invasive and they're great for a prolonged period of oxygen.
So this is a Life Pack 15. In the outer right pocket you have your defib pads. In the inner pocket you have spare defib pads, cardiac drugs, you have 12 lead ECG cable and a shock box. There's quite a razor in there. So on the top back pocket you have your SpO2 and your tidal CO2, end-tidal CO2. There. Under here you have your blood pressure cuffs. So you've got your pediatric, bariatric and normal blood pressure cuffs. Pulling this yellow strap here and lifting it up, you find the batteries. you can press the button and it tells you how charged the batteries are. So these ones are dying. So then you can open up, so you can take the battery out by pressing the side and pulling it out. And then drop a new one in, shut the flap, shut that, push that there. On this side here, we have our 3-lead ECG. We should have a spare paper roll in here as well. So the end tidal CO2 plugs in up in this flick place here, lift the flap, twist it in all the way, and then rest it here because it needs to calibrate. The SpO2 goes on the finger like so and plugs in up here. So we're gonna first do a user test. So we're gonna turn it on. Cool. So we're gonna press leave. It starts in AED mode. So now we're in monitoring mode. We're gonna go to options, scroll across to user test, enter, and the user test will be in progress. So while that's testing, we're going to test the shock. So we're going to unplug the defib pads. You must remember to always plug these back in afterwards. So plug the test box in, shock box in. So awesome. So this says user test passed, and the test has passed. So to change the paper, you can open the roll, pull that out, take the roll out, putting it in face up, and shut it off, and we're at the end off. So going back to testing this, so we want to do a manual mode, so we can go energy select, enter manual mode, yes. We're going to switch the joules down to 50, and then we're going to charge it up, press shock, and we're looking for the energy delivered. So we can also charge it up and then dump the shock at any point if you want to cancel it. So that's testing. So this here is your 3-lead ECG. We don't have electrodes at the moment, so I can't demonstrate how to put them on, but you have an LA for left arm, RA for right arm, LL for left leg, and RL for right leg. So you attach them to each of the points on your left and right. Cool. So just with the tape instead of an actual electrode, we're just going to take this onto Michael here. So LL means left lower, left left. And then RL means right leg. LA means left arm, and RA is right arm. Cool. So now we can monitor his QRS complex, which would come up on the screen here. So, because we don't actually have electrodes, we'll put this into demo mode. So to put it into demo mode, we have to unplug everything. So everything's unplugged, so you press the home button and the event button and you turn it on. So you hold down on the two home and event buttons. Cool, so this is demo mode. So we press home to go back to the main screen. So here we have our BPM, we have our SpO2, QRS complex, you have your blood pressure over here. So we can change the views by swiveling around and pressing enter on each box. So if we want to put the heart rate on to hear what the patient's heart's doing as we're busy doing other things, press enter, enter again, and you can turn it up. So we're just going to turn that off for now. You can press home again to enlarge the QRS complex. You highlight that box, press enter, go down to size, enter, and put it up to that size. So now you can see the QRS complex a lot more clear. So at any stage we could print what we see on any of the complexes by pressing the print button here and it'll come out. But this is demo mode, so that work. Cool, so we can go back to analyze mode, CPR mode at any point by pressing analyze. But obviously this is in demo mode, so it won't work. So for CPR mode, you can have the metronome on or off, so you can press CPR and go down to stop metronome, enter, and the metronome stops. So that's more helpful when paramedics want to do their own thing. So with the metronome, it should be at 110 beats per minute, so this machine does it at the wrong time anyway.